AITA for refusing to push my obese cousin around in a wheelchair for a day? Am I the asshole? 1 sore spine. NTA. For me, it's nothing to do with her size. But the fact you've gone out of your way to try and help and you've been met with a furious response. You've in no way shamed her. In fact, you've warned people not to be rude about her in their replies to your post also. I may be wrong, but I am picking up a bit of a bullying vibe towards you. You reference having a bad driving history and being unemployed. Please don't let anyone treat you badly when you are clearly a thoughtful person. Splendid_trousers. 1220. NTA. Honestly, you sound like you have searched for every possible solution. XA0. I don't know why your cousin is furious with you. XA0. Having hope 3594. 6815. What does she expect you to do? If you physically can't do it, you can't do it. Maybe her parents would be willing to give you the money for a rental van that could fit a mobility scooter? ETA. NTA. Ringwrath 6. 1273. NTA. It's a safety issue as well. My brother pushed my mom, 150 pounds, around a street fair on relatively decent pavement and felt it in his back for a few days. It's her safety as well. If you struggle with the wheelchair, she could fall out it. Mental Coconut 7854. 568. I was a full-time carer for my mom for her last 5 years. And she put on a lot of weight in that time because she basically refused to move. Once you stop moving, whether by choice or not, you don't always have the choice to start again. At least not without a lot of help. Muscles atrophy fast. Between year 2 and 3, she went from maybe 150 to 160. At 4 feet 10 to 250, I lost a bunch of weight. And around the time we crossed over, when she got heavier than me, I found I could barely push her anymore. I was always pretty strong. I'm 5 feet 9 and formerly muscular, but when she got to 250 I just couldn't do it. It wasn't even a question of whether I could do it without injuring myself. I tore my rotator cuff picking her off the floor several times in the past. It was that I physically could not. Before her last 2 years, I got her to doctor's appointments and hair appointments and vaccinations, and we sometimes went shopping. But during the last 2 years she left the house twice. For Christmas dinners at restaurants when my brother picked us up, and all she had to do was get down 2 steps into her chair. And then into the car. Even that was almost impossible. And the last time she went out, she collapsed going out the front door and I had to lift her off the floor again. She weighed about 20 pounds more than me at that point, and it wrecked my back for a couple months. At 250, I was able to push her about 20 feet from the car to the table inside the restaurant. And no further. I would not have been able to do it if she had gained even 10 pounds more. Your cousin weighs more than double what my mom weighed. And even if you are considerably stronger than me, you can't realistically do this. I do not want to shame your cousin any more than I want to shame my mom. She did it to me for most of my childhood. And it was horrid. But realistically, at her weight, most events are going to be impossible for her. Most people will not be able to push her. Most cars will not be able to carry her. Most chairs will not support her. It is sad, and most likely humiliating, and hard to accept. I hope that your cousin decides to seek help. But you are NTA for not being able to do this. Nobody could reasonably be expected to. Fake Nordic Alien. 949. NTA. You mentioned a truck that her own parents have? Where are they going to be on this weekend that they can't take her? I can't imagine 600 pounds even fits in your vehicle. Not sure how that would be managed either. But not your problem. Not _ really 1010. 16,684. NTA. The reality is that most people can't push 600 pounds around on flat pavement, much less harsher terrain. It's not a fat shaming issue. It just isn't something most people can do. Euphoric_RIP 3470. 356. Aita. For telling my sister that just because she's a social worker it doesn't mean she always knows what's best for foster kids. Quote, am I the asshole? Many_gas 3588. NTA. You and your husband probably know the situation most intimately of everyone presently involved. And you still come to the conclusion trying to force a relationship with the half-siblings is going to end badly. As a social worker, your sister should know it's not one size fits all with broken families, and individual cases have individual nuances that need to be handled on a case-by-case basis. She's got a romanticist view of families sticking together, and whether or not she's aware of the particulars of this case, she needs to trust your judgment. Lemon_Charlie. 4400. NTA. Does your sister genuinely think a court can force adults to see their minor half-siblings if they're not interested in doing so? The courts can't get parents to do that. She sounds delusional. Sweet and salty princess. 956. NTA. Did she get her degree in Walmart? As a professional, a social worker, she should know that forcing a relationship or for the adult half-siblings to have contact or even take responsibility for your foster kids is only gonna end badly. A lot of the kids in the foster system are literally there because the parents, caretakers, don't want to have them, or even abuse them BC of spite and resentment. You have tried to help them have that relationship. But if the adult half-siblings do not want contact, you can't do anything more about it. It's sad that it has to be that way. But once your kids grow up a little bit more, or become adults themselves, you can try to find that contact info in case they want to reconnect later in life. Honestly, tell your sister to demonstrate she is in fact a professional BC right now. She isn't really doing that. Interesting_son_7135. 374. 70. NTA. It's completely inappropriate for your sister to be pushing her opinion on you here. From a professional standpoint, she is not your family's social worker. Sure, sometimes it's great to have a professional you can lean on and ask questions to. But the line in the sand is that they don't start telling you what to do, and especially not under the guise of being the professional. Your sister should also know that every situation is different. And there is not one hard and fast rule for how things are handled. It sounds to me as though you are handling this well. You are correct that you cannot force adult half-siblings to have a relationship with the children. And no, you cannot go to court to attempt to make that happen. WTF was she even on about there? But more than that even, there is a very real risk that if you did try to fight for those relationships, you would end up giving the children false hope. It is better if they learn to deal with not having that relationship. And you are doing all the right things by managing things and getting them into therapy. MS Finch 87. 56. Social workers like your sister forced my nephew back with his biological mother at 7 years old. He was abused psychologically by his stepdad for a whole year before they gave him back to his grandma and had little to no contact ever again. SD died and BM has no contact now 20 years later at my nephew's decision. Social workers are so narrow-minded they don't see the big picture. Quote, Render 1853. 407. NTA. If the adult half-siblings don't want contact, you can make them. Just be sure that you have the receipts to prove that you tried to reach out to them and were rebuffed. Regalita. 46. Greater than she told me I should take her professional advice and stop invalidating her profession and experience like I did just there. NTA. She isn't talking to you in a professional capacity. The only reason she can talk to you about the issue at all is because you are family, and giving advice in that context is not the same as her acting in her professional capacity. She can't combine the two, if she thinks that because she works in a certain profession everyone in her family with an issue automatically becomes one of her cases under her jurisdiction. And her advice comes under her professional authority and must be followed. Then she isn't thinking or acting professionally anyway. Kuroko Menu. 41. Aita for not reminding my husband about a huge event in my life? Am I the asshole? Tight_tradition 9826. NTA. This makes me sad for you. My mom flew in for my public defense and OFC my husband was there as well. It's a pretty big event. It sounds like this is a symptom of a larger problem in which he disregards things that are important for you. I think you need to address that issue with him more than anything. Maybe through counseling. Congratulations on passing your confirmation. Dr. Laurel Crash. 3996. NTA. He simply didn't care enough to read an email and even to check on you. Or wish you well. He's blaming you for his lack of care and consideration. Sherlock 27. 822. That remind me another post where the husband never asked anything about his wife life. She was a college student when she stopped updated him. She got her diploma, find a new job and got a promotion. It's only because one of the husband friend congratulate him for his wife promotion that he threw a fit. She was shocked that he didn't even realize she wasn't a student anymore. Kingdo 7. 278. 7. This sounds like I used to be. He never cared. Then he finally said the worst part of my day if when you come home and want to talk to me. 8 years in, NTA. But if he doesn't take it as a wake-up call, see it as the red flag it is. Aggie Astronaut. 163. NTA. This would destroy me. I am a grad student right now. And thinking of a PhD but hesitant because it's so much work. You're incredible for doing that and I am sorry your partner did not recognize that. I am not going to say you should divorce them. But this is arguably up there with cheating in my mind. To me, defending a thesis successfully is up there with a wedding, birthing a baby etc. Capybara Lover 98. 357. Why are some of the commentators acting like the op left out information? The university sent the email with the details to her and she forwarded it to her husband. Stop the playing devil's advocate mess. No school, business, or employer will send important information without the subject specifying what the email is about. Why? Because they want to make sure you were notified. Also, you guys are assuming the op asking if her husband got the email and if he read it that it wasn't implied that both were aware of the purpose of her asking. He acknowledged he got it but didn't read it, which means he was fully aware of what she was talking about. No one is that busy to pay attention to anything they care about. If he cared he would have read the email after being reminded 2x or he would have asked her during each occurrence. This is a pattern. No one should have to baby an adult period. My spouse does this same thing all the time which is why, like the OP, I stopped reminding or even bringing up anything important in my life. It's the same with the kids. When you're married, your life, your spouse's life, and the children's lives are all mixed together. Yes, each may have something going on specific to them. But if anyone consistently acts as if everyone else's life events aren't as important as theirs, eventually the spouse and kids will begin to resent you and respond accordingly. Which is why Op's husband got upset. He feels angry and guilty not because he forgot to read the email or that he forgot to ask again. It's because he realizes his wife was not willing to baby him anymore and now has to be a full participant in the life he created. Fresh Winner 1461. 4. Info. When he asked if he could come, did you ever actually answer? I might be missing something. It sounds like he asked. You said you weren't sure. And then forwarded internal documentation about it, but did not actually ever follow up if external people could attend. Or am I wrong? Julia Bell Swain, 73. AITA for influencing my niece into bad habits. Am I the asshole? Additional Mammoth 265. NTA I can't get past the idea anyone thinks an 11-year-old child needs to shave her legs. Holiday_trainer_2657. 4132. NTA. The way it's written, the niece noticed your legs and then asked. I don't see how responding honestly and simply to a question is intentionally influencing anything. And I think intent is important in this situation. You weren't shoving a hairy shin at her and telling her that life is so much better when you don't shave. However, since your niece seems to admire you, any decision you make will likely influence her. Your mere presence will influence her. I'm guessing your sister might be worried her daughter will be teased if she stops shaving even. Though younger generations seem much more accepting of different choices than older ones. I'd explain to your sister that you didn't intend to influence or interfere by responding to Amber's question, and that you'll direct any future questions her way. I'm not sure I'd apologize, although you might want to, depending on how much you want to stay. And I'd consider looking into alternative housing depending if things escalate. Although as this is a minor blip in an otherwise good relationship, hopefully you all can work past it. Laurel Crash. 443. NTA at all. That was the mature and diplomatic way to handle the question. XA0 Your sister's response is concerning. XA0. Lurker by Nature GT. 65. 5. NTA. IDK I feel like your sister's attitude is a bit neurotic. Is shaving legs really that significant? If she made that statement and stormed off dramatically, might be worth sitting down and talking it through to see what the issue is. No hugs PLS. 208. NTA. Since your sister has apparently forced her 11-year-old daughter to shave her legs and convinced her it's some kind of hygiene requirement, she's totally the AH here. WTF? Quote. Toxic Redox. 364. NTAIT's disgusting to teach an 11-yo that she needs to shave to be acceptable. XA 0 inches. Rahini_rambles. 112. NTA I didn't even realize she is 11 years old being told shaving is a requirement for getting ready. As a girl, at that age I was having self-image issues because of my arm hair and wore hoodies in summer to hide them. I am glad she has you as a role model even if your sister doesn't like it. 'Cause if not, she's gonna end up like one of those 13-year-old Sephora girls that use anti-aging products at such a young age. BC they are obsessed with their appearance. BC of the internet and society. Interesting_sun_7135. 27.